Hey Aries, welcome to February 2019. I hope you guys are doing well and you guys survived that lunar eclipse. That would totally be affecting you guys because it was a full moon in Leo, your sister fire sign. So you guys, you felt it. You definitely felt it. What a lunar eclipse does is it pushes out what is no longer serving us. So things got brought to the surface for you to really deal with head on and be like, okay, let me take another look at this straight up and decide what I want to do with it. What did come from that for a lot of the Aries is emotional confusion. You may have felt like things were making sense to you, things were finally like you were finally on a path that made sense, and then that lunar eclipse came in, was like, well, what about this? And now you're like, okay, what am I doing? Emotionally feeling very confused. And I think I've done this with you guys before, but the cup that you are attracted to is where the source of that emotional confusion is coming from. Okay, so take a look at this card and comment below which cup you are drawn to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. I'm going to explain what each one is. Okay, so if you are drawn to this card, your emotional confusion is sourcing from how you view yourself. Okay, whether you feel good about yourself, and to clear that, positive affirmations. Actually, to clear all these positive affirmations. So a positive affirmation for this is, I am worthy, I am loving, I am accepting, others accept me without fault. You could, look yourself every day, look yourself dead in the eye and say that you love yourself unconditionally. That will clear that up. If you were drawn to this one, this is just a general confusion. You're just blanket confused. And a positive affirmation for that could be just saying, I understand my life clearly and I know my direction clearly. What you're confused about, you can just turn it into a positive affirmation that is the complete opposite of what you're feeling. This snake is more about deception, feeling like you need to let go of an old skin, feeling like you need to let go of your old self. When you think about the snake, another thing with the snake that the Quietest Revolution was talking about, which really resonated for me, is I think it was her, she had a snake, she was gifted a snake, and she noticed that when the snake shed its skin, it would retreat into its own, like somewhere hidden in a cage, because it recognized that it was so vulnerable, right? So if you're drawn to this snake cup, Aries, it's saying that you need to retreat. You've shed a skin, and now it's time to kind of go inward and protect yourself, because you're very vulnerable right now. You're a new being now. You're a new being. You're developing now a new sense of skin. So you need to protect and make sure that the layers that you build up are what you want, and they are positive and optimistic, and they're not based on old habits. Okay. This castle is an emotional confusion when it comes to your roots, your ancestry, your home life. So that will be demonstrated through your home life, but it actually goes further than that. It's really the sense of security that you receive from your parents, the sense of structure that you receive from your parents as well. So this one would require a lot of deep work, because you'd be going back on eons of karmic debt, right? There's a book called Divine Transformation by Master or something, and he is excellent at removing karma of eons and decades of ancestry. For instance, you have a grandmother who, didn't follow her heart and she married for money. That is going to be something that's in your cellular DNA. So now you find that not only did your parents do the same thing, not only did your mom do the same thing, but now you realize that when it comes to your life, you may self-sabotage relationships that are from the heart because your grandmother didn't feel like she was able to love from the heart. So now you are kind of reliving that karmic debt through her. So that is more of a structural ancestry, emotional confusion that needs a lot of deep work. The jewels, straightforward, that's an emotional confusion when it comes to your money, when it comes to your possessions. Positive affirmations is, I love money. Pull out your cash and literally go through it. I love money. I love money. What I noticed? We did our money pot. We broke it open, and there was money on the ground, and my daughter went to go grab it, and my husband goes, no, it's dirty. And I'm like, no, it's clean. We love money. Obviously it's physically dirty, like everybody touches it, but what does that tell what thought is that being planted that money equals dirty, right? And then we don't want to touch it. So pulling your money out and actually, I love you, feeling it, really putting positive affirmations on it and just reconfirming and changing the way you felt about money previously. Like when you think of the term filthy rich, like what is that saying, right? So just saying I love money every day will shift that. The next card is another transformation card, but it's more about your integrity. It's more about your integrity when it comes to transformations. So there's in my opinion, there's two ways to transform yourself: either being forced to change because people can't stand you anymore and you're losing positive relationships, or you realize that there's something about yourself that you don't like and then deciding to make that change. Actually, maybe even there's a third where outside circumstances come in, like a death or a birth, that force you to transform in order to adapt. So this card is an emotional confusion based on your transformations and the integrity attached to those transformations. Are you transforming because you feel like you need to? Are you transforming because you want to? Or are you transforming because you feel like you're being forced to do that? So getting clear about those transformations and the intention behind it, okay? The last card is Dragon, which is all about your power. So emotional confusion about the power that you give off and the power that others perceive you have. And as an Aries, I can tell you right now, people find you very powerful and very intimidating because you tell it like it is. If you promise something, you're like, no. My Aries brother, when we give him Christmas gifts, I'm not going to use this. I don't want this. Return it. And it's like me as Libra, I'm just like, oh my God. Even if I hate something, I'm going to wear it in front of you. I respect that about Aries, where they're like, no, I don't have time to lie to you and manipulate you through, trying to spare your feelings. It's very refreshing, very, very refreshing. But of course, you're going to have people that have a problem with it, especially if you have Libras in your life. You're going to have somebody who has an issue with that. And that could lead to a lot of emotional confusion where it's like, I want to feel more empowered. I want to give off my power. I am a powerful being. I'm the god of war. I'm the goddess of war. I'm an Aries. I'm fiery and impulsive. But other people will be kind of taken aback by that, especially people who are more on the passive side, right? Okay, so let's see. Aries, February 2019. Aries sun, moon rising. Okay, there's another fire sign that's trying to pop out here, a younger fire sign, Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius. Let's see. Okay, let's do this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so let's see what's going on for Aries for February 2019 besides your emotional confusion. And that is alone time, hermit mode, the end of an era, the end of an era. The Aries can be alone. You guys are independent, you're free thinkers, you're leaders, and we need people like you. Like mentioned before, you guys are the first sign of the zodiac. It's all about that new beginning, that newness, that novelty. And now for February 2019, you're standing in your power. You're standing in your own spotlight and you're really kind of pushing the people out that are not serving you anymore. It's the end of an era, essentially. The obstacle and the aid to this alone time is your reputation, how people view you. So how people view you is already pioneering, is already independent. However, that's not necessarily something that you want to be known for. You want to be, especially if you're trying to get into a relationship because of the emotional confusion when it comes to your love life. If you find that you want to really go forward in a relationship, a reputation of an independent pioneering person is not necessarily going to be the best ally for you, right? Because somebody's going to be like, well, you're doing it alone. So, you would need to find somebody who had their Venus in Aries or was also in Aries or had some independent energy. Maybe they were a life path 1 in numerology in order to work with your energy. So the obstacle to your alone time is your reputation and how people are viewing you and how therefore you're viewing yourself, because people are a reflection of your inner self. But it's also the aid. So your reputation and your ideas and, that Aries energy of independence is helping your solitude as well. Subconsciously, your family is doing great. Subconsciously, all you want is an emotionally happy family, everybody taken care of. This gets me so excited. My brother's an Aries, and I'm just like dying for him to get engaged. Okay, so your alone time is the situation for February 2019. The obstacle and the aid to your alone time is your reputation, how people view you, and therefore how you view yourself. Subconsciously, you are working from an emotionally happy place. Every decision that you're making in February 2019 is stemming from this. This is the source. At the end of the day, you got to get clear about the fact that you want a happy family. Okay. As much as you are an independent Aries, at the end of the day, you want what everybody wants, and that's love. That's unconditional love. That's to feel accepted, to feel like you have a place in the world and a place in somebody else's life. Subconsciously, everything is stemming from this happy family idea. And you know what, Aries? Maybe your idea of a happy family isn't the 2-car garage. It isn't the nuclear family. It isn't the, what housewife, trophy wife, and 2.5 kids and yada, 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 and that quintessential whatever. Maybe your idea of a happy family is an open marriage. Maybe your idea of a happy family is, living with your best friend and her kids. Maybe your idea of a happy family is moving away and never seeing your family again. Maybe your idea of a happy family is complete solitude, or you having a child alone, getting, you know what I mean? Adoption. Who knows what your idea of a happy family is, except for you. You need to get clear about what that is, because your life is based on it right now. Your entire life is based on your idea, your subconscious ideas of a happy family. So it's time to get clear about what that means and make sure that it's your truth, right? I don't expect an Aries to necessarily want the nuclear family. Like I said, you guys are independent, but maybe society has said, well, that Instagram model, it's all about, having the partner who's good looking, and you know what I mean? Maybe that's not your truth. Maybe that's not what resonates for you. Getting clear about what you feel is the proper fit for you is what's going to set you free. And then not having to explain it to anybody else. It's none of their business. If you want to live if your idea of a happy family is, you guys are swingers, or who knows, anything, no judgment. Whatever your idea of a happy family is, get clear about it, because that's running your life. Okay? You're thinking that you are incredibly powerless right now. You're thinking like you are powerless. You're feeling powerless when it comes to this solitude. Maybe the solitude is not something that you initiated, but now you kind of just have to deal with it. I want to get clear about one thing, Aries. If you are feeling alone, you did initiate that. You did initiate it. Like I mentioned before, we create our own life. So if you find that your life is not representing how you feel on the inside, you're not connected to your inside, right? So maybe you are subconsciously pushing people away. Maybe you are subconsciously trying to put them into a mold that they don't fit into. Like maybe you are coupled up with somebody who needs that nuclear family, and you're saying, no, let's be long distance lovers. And they're like, well, that's not going to work for me. You've essentially created this powerlessness when it comes to your solitude, okay? And the person who's really affecting you is an earth sign, a female earth sign, Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn, okay? This person is the reason why you've done it alone. Maybe it's a mother who was single. Maybe it was a grandmother, like mentioned, who was single. There is a female energy in your life that is showing you what it means to be independent, and what that does to your reputation, and what that does to your ideas of a happy family. And you're powerless. You're feeling very powerless when it comes to the situation, but it's something that was inbred into you from birth, probably. It's probably something that, when you were in vitro, this person was feeling that way toward you, okay? So this is how people are viewing you, though. Marriage. I can personally attest to that, because like I said, my Aries brother, he's been with his girlfriend for like a year, and I'm like, okay, where's the ring? Like, I love her, marry her, So this is how people are viewing you. They want you to get clear about what are you doing, Aries? What does family mean to you? Are you getting married? Are you getting engaged? Are you happy in your marriage? Are you happy in your partnership? This is how they're viewing you. They're really looking at you like, what is Aries doing when it comes to the happy family? Because you're really blowing their world away. You're really transforming what they felt you should be doing. And you know what? You're a leader. You're not going to do what everybody else does. You're not a follower. You're not going to do what the in crowd says. You're not going to just go with the flow. And it's really making them be like, well, what are you doing? And it's kind of like turning their whole world upside down. But you need to just get engaged and then, you know, get married, and you know, you need to do that. But it's selfish. Like I just said, like, I don't know if my brother should get married. I don't know if my Aries brother should get married, but I'm selfish enough to be like, I want to see you married. You know, I want to go to a wedding and I love your girlfriend, so propose to her, right? It is very self-centered what your family and friends are doing when it comes to your ideas of solitude and your ideas of independence, because it threatens them. Because if you're independent, it means that you don't need them. And like we mentioned before, everybody just wants to feel needed and unconditionally loved. So if you're able to kind of go off on your own, they're afraid that you're going to leave them alone in the dust. So they're like, please, at least be married, or at least be in a committed relationship, so I don't have to worry about you. And it's actually quite offensive when you stop to think of it, because it shows you that those people that care about you don't trust that you're going to make the proper decisions, because your decisions don't mesh with their ideas of positive decision making. But realistically, you got to do what's right for you. Like, let's get real. Particularly a water sign, okay? Family and friends, there's a water sign here. Masculine energy, Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces. This person in particular has the most conflict when it comes to your independence. This person in your family and friends, who's very sweet, very, very sweet, but their water energy is a wet blanket to you. They really suppress you. They're your extinguisher. So you're all fiery, impulsive, and they're like, tss, and of course that creates steam, right? This water sign in particular is really much struggling with your independence, and definitely affecting your reputation as well. They're really struggling with your independence because as a water sign, when you think about water in general, right? Like when you think about a fire, as you guys are a fire sign, there's a lot of sparks and then they're gone, right? A fire spark will come and land on you and it'll leave a burn mark, but that's the only trace, right? And then a water sign, you can't, when you go in water, you're submerged. You're completely soaked, right? A fire sign can just a little dip, and it's like, oh, just that. Water sign, you're getting completely submerged in. You know when you even stepped into a puddle, like that ruins your whole day. But if you got a little burn mark right here, you take off the clothes and you're good to go. So this water sign is very much threatened, I guess you could say, frustrated, confused, mainly because your independence threatens their understanding of life in general, okay? Because they're all about complete submersion and complete, really, what's the word I'm looking for? Where you just like succumb, like complete submission of emotions, where it's like when you think of oceans, OCEANS, emotions, like they are deep, and then here you are crackling away, a small ember left, and they're like, no. So this water sign is the person that's having the most trouble with it. Hope and fear is your heartbreak, okay? Hope and fear is that if you were to do your solitude thing, if you were to do your alone thing, your independent thing, you do have worries that you will be heartbroken, that somebody will come along and take away the relationships that you've made, especially, if you are thinking about what a happy family means to you, and if it's not in alignment with our society's ideas of a happy family, there is a fear that somebody is going to come in and show this water sign, this earth sign, what they can do with the happy family, and you're going to be left out heartbroken. But you also kind of hope for it as well, because then you'd be a little bit off the hook. So it's time to get clear about what you want, Aries, because the path that you're on right now, you're feeling powerless when it comes to your independence. You feel like you can't be independent, especially when it comes to this earth sign and this water sign. You feel like you can't be independent, but your independence is exactly what you need, because as a fire sign, it's your soul's purpose. So you have a hope that maybe you would get off the hook by being heartbroken, and then you definitely have your independence. But of course you fear that because that's a pain that runs quite deep, right? So you want to get really clear about what you're manifesting. It's almost like maybe it'd be easier if this person left me for somebody else, because then I wouldn't have to live up to their impossible standards of a happy family, and I wouldn't have to live up to this commitment and this conjoining of relationships that is not necessarily feeding you in a positive way. So the outcome, Aries, is you're going to keep thinking that you are feeling very powerless when it comes to your independence. And because of that powerlessness, we have an air sign that comes in, masculine energy, that is Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. This air sign comes in, and then you're going to be kind of forced in a way to take some sort of leap of faith and to just risk it all. Okay, so whether that be risking it all and saying, I want to just do my independent thing, whether that means risking it all, where you kind of put your feelings on the back burner and say, you know what, fine, I will do it your way. Or who knows what your risk taking will be, but it will be quite the adventure, and it's important for you to see it that way. It's important for you to see it as a growing technique, as a lesson in life, and not allow it to harbor a lot of resentment, because at this point in your life, Aries, it is what it is. Essentially, it is what it is. You can either decide to make other people happy or make yourself happy. That's where you're at right now. And that's why you're emotionally confused, because you're torn between, what do I want? What am I doing? I know what I should want, but I know that that's not what I actually want. So just getting really clear and just being honest with yourself. And therefore you can be honest with other people. Okay, Aries, love you guys so much. I hope you have an amazing February 2019. I'll see you in March. And as always, if you want a personalized reading, my email address is below. I use astrology and numerology in all my readings. Please comment, like, subscribe, and share. Bye, Aries. See you in March.